What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Monday, April 29th, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 22:15 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Crimea tonight. So, just about 2 hours ago, there were reports of at least 10 kabooms heard in Crimea. Apparently, Crimea is under another Ukrainian Atacms attack, and these kabooms were heard in Jankoy, Simferopol, and Gvardeyskoye. Okay, and this is being reported by local residents on social media. And Russia has now closed the Kerch Bridge. That's the Crimean Bridge, the bridge that Vladimir Putin built to connect Russia to Crimea. So the Russians have closed that bridge now for security reasons. At least 10 kabooms heard in Crimea this evening. And we also have major breaking news that a KGB defector, Major Yuri Shevets, said that Ukraine has received 1,000 Atacms missiles and they have no restrictions on using them in Crimea. In other words, the U.S. has given them the green light to use all of these Atacms missiles on Crimea, guys. 1,000 Atacms missiles, okay? That is insane. So I think the strategy, like I've been saying the last couple of days, is that the U.S. and Ukraine are going to try to pound Crimea with these Atacms, and they're going to try to give Russia something else to deal with so they can't just completely focus all their efforts on their offensive, which is going to begin in May and June. And they've been making huge gains near the Donetsk part of Ukraine. The Russians have seized several towns. They're gaining every single day. They've made a serious breakthrough near Donetsk. I'm going to show you guys on the map where this breakthrough is happening. And we also have some riots breaking out tonight in the Virginia Commonwealth University. Apparently, students are throwing bottles and objects at police, and they stormed and took over the Cabell Library building. There's currently a shelter-in-place order. So these pro-Hamas riots are continuing to spread across the country. Now, in addition to all of this news, we currently have a U.S. presidential Doomsday plane airborne over the Ozark Mountains in Arkansas. It just took off from Warner Robins about 2 hours ago, and it met a KC-135 aerial refueler that took off from Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma City over the Ozarks, and it got aerially refueled over the Ozarks, and then it shut its transponder off. This is extremely unusual for this late at night, okay, for them to be flying Doomsday planes around on a late Monday night. And I think it's in response to the strike on Crimea tonight. Something huge is going down right now. Potentially something even bigger may happen, like the complete destruction of the Kerch Bridge in the coming days. Okay, but what you're looking at here are the flight paths of the presidential Doomsday plane that took off from Warner Robins and the KC-135 that took off from Tinker, and they met over the Ozark Mountains in Arkansas. Here's a zoomed in look. And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing a discount on their 1-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. This is a 1-month freeze-dried food supply. It has a 25-year shelf life. Normal price is $237. They've dropped it down to $177. So that's a savings of $60. And it's all packed within 2 rugged, water-resistant buckets. Free shipping is included. $177 for 1 month of food. Where are you going to find a deal like that? They also have a general store, and they're always running discounts in their general store on various prepping and survival items. They have everything from MREs, potassium iodide, to survival seeds. And to get to their general store, you got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo at the top of the page when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com. And you'll see when you get there, they have everything you can imagine. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $60 off the My Patriot Supply 1 month emergency food supply. That's $180 for 1 month of food, free shipping included. The link is in the description below this video. And also check out their general store. They have everything you can imagine prepping and survival related, and they're always running various discounts there. You can see both of them right here. And then you can see the Doomsday plane turned its transponder off and the aerial refueler kept on going. Okay, so this is very, very concerning. Our nuclear forces are on high alert as well. We have 3 Boeing E-6B Mercuries airborne tonight over the U.S. These are nuclear war command and control planes. They transmit messages to our submerged nuclear armed submarines. They communicate with them. They send out nuclear attack options and emergency war orders, which are basically the orders to launch. 3 of them airborne tonight. So in addition to the Doomsday plane getting aerially refueled and turning its transponder off, we have 3 of these in the air tonight, which is very unusual for a Monday night this late. Now, in addition to that, we have more aerial refuelers going over the Atlantic. And just in the last 2 to 3 days, I've counted at least 15 aerial refuelers have gone to Europe. Okay. Several of them went to Rota, Spain, which is right next to one of our bomber bases, the Meran Air Base, which is where we keep our B-52s and B-1s in Europe. They're at the Meran Air Base. Several of them went there. Several of them went to Mildenhall, which is also another bomber base. We keep stealth bombers there. We keep B-1s there, B-52s, F-22s. All the high-end aircraft goes to Mildenhall. We had several refuelers going there, several going to Meran Air Base area. We have 2 more now going over the pond tonight. One of them was doing these weird loops over northeastern Ohio and northwestern Pennsylvania, which is extremely unusual, but you can see both of these refuelers heading over northeastern Canada. And we also have some unusual aerial refueler activity off the coast of South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida tonight. We had 3 aerial refuelers airborne at the same time at one point off the coast of South Carolina this evening, and one of them took off from Cherry Point, which is a Marine Corps base, and it was flying at only 3,000 feet in altitude, and it was doing these loops here off the coast of Savannah, Georgia, and it was most likely aerially refueling some assets here that had their transponders turned off, because this thing was looping for a long time here, okay, and flying at only 3,000 feet. Very, very concerning. So something is going on, guys. Our military is on high alert tonight. We had the strikes on Crimea. I don't know if it's related to that or something else, but I do believe Ukraine is going to try to take down that bridge very soon. And I will be monitoring the situation tonight in Crimea, and I will update you guys tomorrow on which targets were hit tonight and how severe the attack was. Another concerning thing is we had another Russian Special Flight Squadron plane take off from Kaliningrad and go to Russia. Last night, we had a Russian Special Flight Squadron cargo plane go from Moscow to Kaliningrad. And tonight, we have a Russian VIP Special Flight Squadron plane going to Russia from Kaliningrad. So some VIP was in Kaliningrad and got moved back to mainland Russia tonight, okay? This is a Tupolev 204-300. So something's brewing over here in the Baltics, guys. I've been saying for weeks and months now that Russia could attack Lithuania, the Suwalki Gap. Lithuania and Poland have been doing drills here in the Suwalki Gap with tanks and infantry. And the U.S. has also been doing drills there as well. And here's the flight path from last night of the Russian Ministry for Emergency Situations heavy cargo plane that went to Kaliningrad. This is very concerning, guys. This is an Ilyushin 76 TD. This is their heaviest transport plane for the military over there in Russia. So they're moving some serious equipment into Kaliningrad right now. Okay. And then they had a VIP in Kaliningrad as well. So I'm telling you guys, war is going to break out in the Baltics, and it could happen this year. Here's a bunch of the aerial refuelers that went to the UK last night. You can see 3 of them over here. This was last night. And here we have a bunch of NATO reconnaissance activity over the Baltics, and also a bunch of NATO VIP planes flying into the Baltics. We also had a British Eurofighter Typhoon looping in northern Estonia close to Tallinn, which is extremely unusual, and it came all the way up from Romania, and it met an aerial refueler that came from the UK, and they met over southeastern Poland, and the aerial refueler refueled the Eurofighter Typhoon that came from Romania. So very unusual for NATO to send a British Typhoon fighter jet from Romania all the way up to Estonia and get aerially refueled over eastern Poland. Something was going on over here in Estonia last night for them to do that. You can see right here this Typhoon looping. Okay, very, very concerning, guys. For all we know, there could have been an attempted incursion into Estonian airspace by the Russian Air Force. I mean, who knows, guys? Okay, there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that we don't know about. And we also had a U.S. Navy VIP plane fly from Spain to Estonia. Okay, so something's brewing over here, guys, in Eastern Europe, in Ukraine, in the Baltics, and also in Scandinavia as well. We had Russia move their Iskander missiles close to the border of Finland, and those Iskander missiles have nuclear warheads on them. So that's very concerning. Now the US and NATO are doing drills right on Russia's border in Finland, and they're going to be building bases just within 100 miles of the Russian border. Here we have a Norwegian sub-hunter plane that flew close to the Russian Northern Fleet base of Murmansk. This is where Russia keeps most of their nuclear-armed submarines. This was last night as well. Here we have a picture of the Polish president and the Lithuanian president at the exercises that have been ongoing the last few days in the Suwalki Gap. And I want to remind you guys that the Polish president personally met with Donald Trump a week and a half ago at, I think, Trump Tower. Trump invited him for dinner. And shortly after that, when the Polish president returned to Poland, he said that talks were still ongoing with the U.S. and NATO on Poland getting U.S. B-61 nuclear gravity bombs and joining the NATO nuclear strike mission. Okay, so Poland would basically have B-61 nuclear gravity bombs on their soil that they can use against Russia in a war. And this is very, very serious, guys. Okay. And here we have the approximate location of this Baltic jammer. There's been an insane amount of jamming going on in the Baltic Sea, and most recently in the southern Baltic Sea. A lot of ships have been affected now by this jammer. And you can see the location of this jammer is somewhere in western Kaliningrad near Baltics, which is where Russia has their Baltic Fleet headquarters. That's where their Baltic Fleet is located, in Baltics. Okay, they have a lot of nuclear warheads stored over here as well, and nuclear weapons, Iskander missiles, lots of attack helicopters, attack jets, fighter jets. Okay, Kaliningrad is heavily militarized, guys. They have a lot of firepower there. And now Russia is jamming ships. They're not just jamming airplanes anymore. They're now jamming ships in the southern Baltic Sea. So this is preparations for war, guys. Russia has a jammer set up because they're going to go to war with NATO in this area, and they want to make sure that they have their jammer up and working. I want to show you guys the gains that Russia has been making in eastern Ukraine near Donetsk. Just absolutely insane. So let me show you guys where Donetsk is. This is Donetsk right here. And here's the Donetsk airport. And then just to the north, we have Avdiivka. And then here we have Ocheretne. And then here we have Ocheretne. And we're going to start from the 19th and go to today. I want you guys to pay attention here to this area, and you'll see the gains that they make every single day since then. So here we have the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. Look at that, guys. From the 28th to the 27th. Look at the difference. Absolutely insane. They've broken through over here already, and there's nothing to stop them, and they're going to keep going. Looks like they're going to go northwest. Very concerning, guys. And then here's today. Okay, so they're making crazy gains. Look at that, guys. Just in the last 3 days. Look at this. Just in the last 3 days. Look at that. Okay, so this is what I've been telling you guys is going to happen. Okay, Ukraine does not have men. They don't have equipment. The Western media doesn't want to tell you the truth because they screwed up. Okay, they've donated all this equipment to Ukraine, and it's not really working because they've given them the wrong equipment at the wrong time and in not enough quantities. And now NATO is panicking because they know that Russia went into a wartime economy and wartime production, and they've produced millions of artillery shells, and Ukraine doesn't have any artillery shells anymore. So this is very serious, guys. This could really be a bad thing for Ukraine. Okay, Russia could potentially push all the way to the Dnieper River, and that could push NATO over the edge, and NATO may decide to do something drastic like take out the Kerch Bridge with Ukraine and help Ukraine take out the Kerch Bridge, or they could deploy forces into Ukraine, because up until now, NATO has felt pretty secure. They felt like, oh yeah, okay, the front lines have frozen in place. We don't really have to worry too much about Russia making gains anymore. But now Russia is making gains, okay, and they're making serious gains here, and their offensive hasn't even started yet. Okay, this isn't even the start of their offensive. This is just, like a localized advance. Wait until Russia floods these areas with thousands and thousands of troops and fresh equipment. I mean, it's going to be a really bad situation here, okay? And they're also going to try to push the front line northward over here in Zaporizhia, so this way Crimea is out of Atacms range. So they're going to try to push north here, okay? So that's why I believe Ukraine is going to try to strike the Kerch Bridge and launch these massive strikes on Crimea very soon, because if Russia pushes the front lines further north, it's going to be a lot harder for Ukraine to set up their HIMARS and hit Crimea, okay? So that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be monitoring the situation, and I will be back tomorrow with more breaking news. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the video, and also set up notifications. Hit the bell icon down below so you get notified when I post these updates. So until tomorrow, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.